Good morning, friends. Paul Green here with a comedian's commute on my way to work. You may notice I am wearing suspenders and a tuxedo shirt. That is on purpose. I am actually performing tonight with the Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble. I play percussion. Kind of a fun story. I played percussion with them, oh gosh, probably 15 years ago when I was still in high school. The band director was my high school band director, and he started this wind ensemble, and then sometimes he would need to fill in a few extra spots, and so he would have his high school students fill in when needed. So I performed with them for quite a few years, and then about 7 years ago was when I first joined Jesters Improv, which was kind of my first venture into comedy. And Jesters had their rehearsals the same night as Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble, so I was like, well, I could perform in the Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble, which is a lot of fun. It's classical style music. I get to play in a percussion section, which is a lot of fun. I get to play all the, you know, the marimbas and snare drums, and bass drums, and crash cymbals, and you know, the tambourine and triangle, bing, and a lot of fun. But at that point in my life, I was like, well, I really want to see if I have any shot at being funny. So I chose Jesters, and then I performed with Jesters for about 6 years, and didn't even really, I missed the Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble, but I didn't like follow it or anything. I didn't know what was going on with it. So once I decided to pursue other comedic opportunities, I found this stand-up comedy class at Tempe Center for the Arts, which is where the Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble used to perform and rehearse. And so I start going to this comedy class, and I go to the comedy class for about 3 or 4 months, and the comedy class is on Tuesday nights, the same night that the Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble rehearsals were. But yeah, so about 3 or 4 months into the comedy class, I show up one night on a Tuesday night, and I hear this wind ensemble rehearsing in the building, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that still the Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble? So I peek my head into the rehearsal room, and sure enough, there they are performing, or rehearsing rather. So I went up and said hi to the band director. You know, I hadn't talked to him for a long time, and then he's like, hey, we still need another percussionist. And so how it works out now is my comedy class starts at 5:30, and Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble starts at 7. And it's at the same locations at Tempe Center for the Arts. And so I show up to my comedy class, I do my comedy thing, and then I hop on over to my Tempe Symphonic Wind Ensemble rehearsal. So we've been rehearsing, it's been a lot of fun. It's a good outlet, and we have a concert tonight, which I'm looking forward to. And so anyway, so I'm in my tuxedo. I don't know why, I have this thing about, I hate bringing a change of clothes to places, and that seems to be everyone else's preference, because I know people hate like dressing like up or being dressed up when they're at work. They want to be casual, and then they would rather change out, like if they need to wear like a suit for something or whatever, they'll just wear casual clothes to change into, and then they'll or they'll come in casual clothes and then they'll bring their suit and they'll change into their suit. I don't know why, I just hate that. I would just prefer, you know, and I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Which I guess is good PR, you know, for the performance tonight. But I did actually have this thought of like, do I really want to go through the whole day of work and have everybody ask me, why are you dressed up? Why are you dressed up? Why are you dressed up? But it's like, it's either that or I got to bring a change of clothes, and then I got to find a place to change, and I pretty much need to, so the schedule now is, because we have a performance tonight, I got to go straight from work, straight to Tempe Center for the Arts, do my comedy class, and then I'm going to have to ditch out a little early to go get set up for the concert, because when you're a percussionist, I find that, you know, everybody says percussionists like aren't musicians or so. There's kind of that stigma, which, yeah, I guess there's some truth to that. You know, it takes a lot of skill to play percussion, but when I look at like what an oboe player can do, what a French horn player can do, there definitely seems to be a lot more skill and craft in maybe some of those instruments. But I've learned that how percussionists make up for it, number one, is we have to learn how to play like 30 different instruments, because there is a different technique for pretty much every percussion item. Snare drum, bass drum, tambourine, triangle, suspended cymbal, wood blocks, concert toms, timpani. Then you have your whole mallet percussion section, marimba, glockenspiel, vibraphone, chimes, xylophone, and then you have like all these kind of random ones like a ratchet and a whip slap and or a whip and a vibra slap and cowbells. Gotta have more cowbell. I actually do get to play the cowbell tonight, which it is impossible now for anybody in the world to hear cowbell or think of cowbell without thinking of Will Ferrell's cowbell sketch, which to me is really when you know you've made it. When you have that sort of iconic catchphrase that anybody who now hears cowbell thinks of Will Ferrell. So I actually do get to play the cowbell. It's one note in the entire concert, and I hit a cowbell at this random little part in a song. It's near the end, and it kind of goes in this super fast vaudevillian thing, and it's like, and I get to hit this cowbell in this kind of comedic, kind of slapsticky, cartoonish type section of the song. So, but yeah, so percussionists, so how we make up for it, though, is not only do we need to play all those other instruments, but what the challenge is when people write percussion parts, it's like they need like 12 of those instruments played in a song. However, you usually only have like 4, I think we have 5 people in our percussion section. And so what ends up happening is it's this juggling act of, okay, I need to play the triangle, doom, and then I have a half a bar to pick up this cowbell, boom, and then I need to jump over to a tambourine and play the tambourine, and then I gotta run over and I have to hit this one crash cymbal hit, and then I gotta run back, and then I gotta play like 2 notes on the glockenspiel, and then I need to run back, oh, this is the section with the tambourine again, so then I need to play the tambourine for a while, and then I have like 2 bars, put down the tambourine, grab the gong mallet, hit the gong, turn around, get the tambourine, boom, 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 3 notes, pick up the crash cymbal for like the big and that is really where percussionists earn their money, because if you can coordinate and have the ability to like be like Mr. Ninja Master of running around in between 3 or 4 percussion instruments and you can hit every single one of them on beat, that's impressive. I don't see French horns doing that. Oh no, French horns, just one spot, and they got 3 valves. It's just all here, baby. It's just right here. Now you're French horning. Or the oboe, it's just right here. Wah, 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 wah. You don't have to run around. So maybe percussionists aren't as musical, maybe as some of the other instruments, but we are definitely more athletic. Definitely have more ADD, and we can, you know, definitely still hold our own in the wind ensemble. It's just that we're not playing one instrument at a time. We're playing 5 instruments at a time. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. And then my comedy class tonight is going to actually be a critique. I had a comedy show on Friday, and I really like these classes. So the first class after a performance, Tony Visick, my comedy coach, will sit me down and he'll go over the show with me and give me a critique, make suggestions. And that's always, it's actually one of my favorite classes because it's kind of an opportunity for me to really gauge where I am. He's really good at kind of talking big picture while also getting to the details of my set, and then he's good at giving me a direction of where he wants to see me go for the next 5 weeks. It's like a 5-week recurring course, as it were, and I've been doing that consistently since I think I started last June. So it'll be 1 year this coming June. So I'm almost into 1 year of my stand-up comedy career, which is different than my improv comedy career. My improv comedy career, you know, I've been doing that for 7 years now, but stand-up is a whole other ball game, and I think I'll probably discuss that tomorrow, because that comes up a lot. People don't always really understand the difference between what a stand-up comedian does and what an improv comedian does, and sometimes it can be confusing because stand-up comedians, a lot of stand-up comedy clubs call themselves the Improv, like the Tempe Improv, yet it's not improv comedy. So I would run into that a lot. So I would tell people like, oh, I'm doing improv, and they would think, oh, he's going to be at the Tempe Improv doing stand-up comedy, but I was actually at Jester's doing improvisational comedy, and I had never done stand-up. I was actually terrified of stand-up for many years, and I finally was able to get the courage, as it were, to go give it a try. And so I'm really grateful for Tony and ComedySchools.com, you know, to provide those opportunities, because I don't think I would have been able to A, either give it a shot, or B, been able to stick with it this long if I didn't have that sort of structure and that mentorship there. Not only as motivation to kind of push me to keep doing it, but also just for the instruction to learn how to do it and to make sure I'm doing it well, and that I'm turning it into a craft and doing my best to be successful at it. So class has been very helpful in that regard. So we'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow, but as for now, I am pulling into the parking lot of my blessed place of employment in Fusionsoft. And so I will bid thee adieu for today. And thank you for watching. This is Paul Green with Comedians Commute, and I will talk to you soon.